Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, smash a like on the video as well. And let's get into today's show. Good to see those of you in here. Footy Judge Mo was in, left a nice comment. What a legend. If you're not, don't know who Mo is or you don't follow him, go and check out his channel. Very, very good guy. And because he doesn't support Premier League team, lots of genuinely unbiased commentary. Emilio, you see it? City and Liverpool are killing me, man, with these results. It's tough. Today, I didn't find today too painful, honestly. I never felt like United were going to hold on. Louis, good to see you. Saka, Sportcat. Are these streams purely Arsenal-based or generalised footy content as well? It's focused around Arsenal, and when there isn't other stuff going on, it will just be purely about Arsenal, and we'll talk about topics. But obviously, on days like yesterday and today where Arsenal haven't played and there are big games going on, we'll talk about them as well. But it's kind of, when we talk about those things, it's with like an Arsenal perspective, if you get what I mean. Magnus, good to see you. Creeper as well. Caleb, hey Rory, first stream since August. Been busy with school and football myself, but made sure to watch them all back. Legend. As always, if you're watching this back, I massively appreciate you. It really does mean a lot. Lupi, Shamake, Andreas, Rory, Hannah, good to see you all. I've got this weird news surrounding. It's awful. It's awful. As you can see, I have the creative ability of a 3-year-old, and I tried to make this is like prototype A, and I ran out of time to do anything else with it. But branding and all of that. Man City cheats. Man City cheats. Man City cheats. Food is good is not happy with Manchester City. Do you know what? Are they cheats? Are they cheats? I don't know. I don't know if they're cheats. In my opinion, they deserve to win the game. They outplayed Manchester United throughout the game. United had 2 shots, 1 on target. The 2 goals, right? The first 2 goals, the foul on Rashford in the build-up to the first one, it's incredibly soft. Do City get that foul? Probably. That's one thing you could argue. City probably do get that foul, but it's very soft. And then the Ederson one on Garnacho before the second goal, I'm like, again, it would be soft because I just don't feel like goalkeepers ever get penalised for that sort of thing. And he won the ball fair and square, so. I will call out stuff like that when I feel it needs to be called out, but I didn't feel like tonight that was one of those games. I don't get what's the need for people to compare Saka and Foden. They're generational talents, and we should just appreciate how good they are. Yeah, it's a strange one. And part of it, I genuinely feel part of it is forced by Man City fans who just. We're still at a point where people just don't really care about Man City. Fan bases don't care about Man City. And so one of the only ways that they can sort of get engagement and put themselves into an argument is by forcing this Foden-Saka thing. The truth is they're 2 completely different players. Saka is a winger. I still think Foden is best in a central position. Both of them should be playing for England. And I don't really understand why they need to be compared. And they only ever get compared when Foden has a good game. It's whenever Foden has a good game, it's, he's better than Saka. But whenever he doesn't have a good game, whenever he drops off, like after the Chelsea game, were any of them talking about Foden being better than Saka after Man City against Chelsea? No, they weren't. So it's forced, and it's a really boring argument at this point, to be honest. Literally, you can admit that Foden is good without putting a player like Saka down. Exactly. For me, right now, they are both top 5 players in the Premier League. And obviously, City fans will put Foden above Saka, and obviously, Arsenal fans will put Saka above Foden. All I really care about is Southgate making sure that he finds a way of playing both of them at the Euros. Man United became way too defensive after the Rashford goal, and you can't do that against City. Absolute lose mentality. Running theme, and teams do this against City. It's exactly what Chelsea did. Chelsea ended up getting away with the draw, but it was exactly what Chelsea did. They were in the lead, they were 1-0 up, and they took off the only threat that they had, the counter-attacking threat that they had. Was it Sterling and Jackson? They took them off, and at that point, City just suffocate you because they have no worry about any sort of counter-attack. So they can afford to just you know, they're other than the goalkeeper, their deepest player will be like Walker or Diaz, and they'll be well inside your own half. You have to be braver. Teams have to be braver against Man City. But I do think there is a blueprint to beat Man City at the Etihad. I think we saw that from United today. I think we've seen it from City. Go there, defend resolutely, and counter-attack them. They're really vulnerable on the counter-attack and in transitions. They keep showing it. And, you know, I think today was arguably the best back four that they have available. I think Walker, Stones, Diaz, Ake is probably the back four that City fans would say is their best back four. Maybe Gvardiol ahead of Ake. But when I put Gvardiol into a team the other day, I had City fans telling me it was Ake. So I really do think you can get at that City team. And the way we defend, you know, I think there's a big opportunity for us to pretty much play the same way that we did at the Emirates. Play against them the same way we did at the Emirates. And I think we can beat them. I genuinely do think we can beat them, or at least get a draw. And depending on what happens next weekend, we might be in a position where a draw is okay. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that game. The Haaland miss, though, I mean, what a miss. And look, Haaland misses a lot of big chances. Obviously, he gets a lot of big chances, right? A lot of which are made because of his movement. But he is comfortably the leading the way for the most big chances missed this season in the Premier League. It was poor. Can you make a combined 11 of the current top four teams? But you can only, you can only choose. I think. So, do you mean you can only choose a maximum of 3 from each club? So basically, I'd have to find a way of getting 2 Villa players in there. Yeah, I might do that for a video. I might do that for a separate video. I'm not going to do it right now because I need to think about it. But that's quite a nice idea for a video. That I quite like that. You mean 4? No, it'd be 3, right? 3, 3, 3, and 2. I'd have to go for. Do you think Osman actually wants to join Chelsea? Money talks is what I'll say. Money talks. I missed the stream yesterday, but that Liverpool win reminded me of us against Bournemouth last year. Same exact week in March as well. Yeah, I think it reminded a lot of people of that. And, you know, I guess the hope is that Liverpool's season will go the same way that ours did last season. But you never know. The difference is Liverpool have got players coming back from injury, whereas we lost players to injury after that. So that's the worrying thing. Francisco Oliveira, good to see you. I think they fall away exhausted. Possibly. Prediction for City Liverpool. I think City win it 2-1. I've got a feeling City win that game 2-1. And that'll massively then put the pressure on us at the Etihad. Because if City win that game and they're ahead of us going into the game at the Etihad, we cannot afford to lose. You know, we could afford to draw and hope that they slip up somewhere else, but certainly could not afford to lose if they've already won at Anfield. So it's exciting. It's exciting, and yeah, there's some massive games coming up. There really are. But I wanted to talk about, you know, obviously we talked about City, and you know, it is what it is, right? I think United were really poor. Which didn't help, but also like the team that United had available to them was awful. So I didn't really expect anything different. In terms of us now, obviously that puts the pressure on. You know, we are. In fact, I'll bring it up now. We are 4 points behind Liverpool, and we are 3 points behind. 3 points behind Man City. Let me just bring this up, and that's a problem. That is a problem. If I do this now, okay, that just covers that up, so that looks awful, but it is what it is. We move. So yeah, look, we are now 4 points behind. Sorry, we're 4 points behind City and 5 points behind Liverpool. So look, the pressure is on, but it should be fine, right? We should go away to Sheffield United and beat them. I guess the good thing is City only won by 2 goals. Liverpool only won by 1 goal. So we could even extend our goal difference advantage by further. Acting like Arsenal fan bases don't make these comparisons. But I feel like Arsenal fan bases normally do it in a reactive way rather than like no one tonight was just going to go, yeah, but Foden's still not as good as Saka if it wasn't for the fact that Foden scores in a Manchester derby and suddenly Man City fans start making about Bukayo Saka. That for me is the difference. When Saka has a really good game, I don't really feel like it's turned into a Foden thing. It's always when Foden has a good game. And Arsenal fans are also used to... Saka has been compared to literally everyone over the last 3 years. It started with him getting compared to the likes of Williams at Liverpool as a left back. Then it was Callum Hudson-Odoi and Elanga and players like that. Then it was Sancho and Rashford. Now the only one left really is Foden. Or some people, Chelsea fans try and talk about Palmer, but it's constant. It's constant. And every time Saka outperforms them, in terms of numbers, Saka outperforms them. I was more annoyed with Liverpool winning yesterday than City. Yeah, Liverpool yesterday, because it got so late into that game. And then you find out afterwards that was like a genuinely, Greenwood as well, that you find out that was a genuinely awful decision by Paul Tierney. Like it was a massive mistake. It's annoying. It is frustrating. I'm kind of surprised that Sheffield United hasn't conceded 10 goals or more, because the way they're playing, they should be conceding 10 goals. Yeah, they're not great. I mean, you look down here, they've conceded more goals than any other team in the league. They've conceded 66 goals. They've scored fewer goals than any other team in the league. They've scored 22 goals. They are the worst team in the league. They're on the same amount of points as Burnley, but realistically, they are the worst team in the league. And, we should go there and comfortably win. Anything less than that, poor. But, actually, anything less than that would be horrific. But, look, a lot of people, including myself, I think we will win 5-0. But this run that we're on, there has to be a hurdle somewhere. Like, it's very unusual for that to continue. I saw a stat today. Arsenal have scored 5+ goals. Arsenal have won by 5 or more goals in the Premier League alone 4 times this season. Manchester United have done that once in the last decade. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Thoughts on the Real Madrid ending yesterday? Mental. And to be fair, at first when I watched it back, I was like, I don't think the refs got it massively wrong, because the ball went out of the box and it was like well over the time. Obviously, I wasn't watching the game live. So it was like a minute and a half beyond the 7 minutes of added time, right? So when the ball went out the box, I was like, the ref's probably been waiting to blow the final whistle for ages. So he's done it there. I didn't realize that during injury time, there had been a VAR check, and it probably should have been an extra 2 minutes added on anyway. So then the fact that he went and did what he did, imagine, obviously, I think Real Madrid are cruising to the La Liga title, right? Imagine that happened to one of Liverpool, City, and Arsenal. It would be insane. My prediction of Arsenal versus Sheffield United is 5-0 or 7-0, including a hat-trick for my prediction. There you go, hopefully. If Sheffield United concede 24 more goals in their next 12 games, they'll become the worst defensive side in Premier League history. There you go. And you don't really kind of associate Sheffield United with that. I don't feel like you associate Sheffield United with traditionally being a really bad defensive team. But, they have been awful. They have been awful. And I don't know what their injury situation is at the moment. Obviously, they beat Luton, but in terms of injuries, does this show the injured players or not? No, doesn't look like it. But I do think they've got some injuries in the back line, I think. So, look, it should be absolutely fine. Gyökeres has scored again today. Could be a great option for Arsenal this summer. Gyökeres, the Gyökeres train has departed, and I am on board. I am on board. How's he performed? Let's have a look at how Gyökeres has done today. Let's have a look at how Gyökeres has done. Where is it? Here he is, sports fans. So, is it not updated yet? Sporting. Oh, they're playing now. They're 2-1 up. Gyökeres scored. Sensational. Sensational. How's he playing? 1 goal from 1 shot on his right foot. Very nice. He's created a chance as well. He's not that good, trust. Well, I'm not just gonna believe a comment that says he's not that good, trust. What would your lineup be tomorrow? Here we go. These are the good questions. My lineup tomorrow, I honestly think would be the same as the Burnley game. It would be the same as, in fact, I'll just go and put it up on screen. But it would, yeah, it would be the same. It would be. I don't think we need Jorginho. I don't think we need Jorginho away at Sheffield United. So it would be, yeah, it would be this team. Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel Kivior, Ødegaard, Rice, Havertz, Saka, Trossard, Gabriel Martinelli. The only potential difference there would be, no, do you know what? No, it wouldn't be. I was going to say it would be Jesus for Trossard, but honestly, there's no reason not to start Trossard. Trossard was playing really well. There's no, if Jesus is still struggling with that knee and we don't know how much he can play at a time, don't risk it. Play Trossard. So that would be my team. Would you make any different? Would you make any changes? Like for me, even if Tomiyasu is fit or Zinchenko is fit, I'm fine with Kivior. Especially against Sheffield United, who realistically, the only chances Sheffield United are going to create are going to be from set pieces. Like if they can win a corner and lump the ball in and score, I'd rather have Kivior. Is Jesus back? Yeah, I think so. He was in training. He was in all of the training sessions. And then in the press conference, Arteta said something along the lines of, he's fit, but we don't know how long he can play for, or something like that. So I think he is back. I'm intrigued to see what the bench will look like. I think Arsenal's toughest game yet to play will be Spurs away, as it's a derby, and Arsenal might underestimate them. Possibly, although I don't think we'll underestimate them. And the way that they're playing at the moment, they're nowhere near as good as they were at the start of the season. So it will be a tough game. Don't get me wrong, it will be a tough game. But I'm confident. And I think actually it might actually suit us playing them away from home more than it did at home. Because when we played them at home, we tried to just play our game and completely impose our game on them. And it caught us out a couple of times. Whereas I think, again, kind of similar to how you can get at City, away from home, we might sit back a little more and we might bring them onto us a little more and then hit them on the break. So I feel like there are certain away games that I think suit us. Jesus was on the bench last week. Yes. Was he? I can't remember. Let's have a look. Was he on the bench last week? Well, was he just an unused? He definitely didn't come on. Well, yeah. So he was an unused sub, I guess. Oh, yeah, he was an unused sub. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So in that case, yeah, presumably he is fit and ready to play. Are Arsenal scoring a set piece goal tomorrow? Hopefully. I don't know how bad Sheffield United have been from set pieces, but are you going to the Porto game? I am indeed. I'm buzzing for the Porto game. I'm absolutely buzzing for it. We had our hopes risen and dashed in both Liverpool and City games. I'll be honest, Liverpool game I did once it got to like the 95th minute. City game, I never, genuinely, at no point in the City game did I actually think United were going to hold on to anything. Like, it screamed City. I thought City would end up winning 4 or 5-1, to be honest. If we beat City, we win the rest of our games. Yeah, maybe. I think Eddie might get a chance tomorrow. I don't think so. Simon, good to see you. No worries. I just noticed a TikTok account called Rory Talks. That's me, probably. That's me, probably, John. Off topic, but I see Liverpool losing 2 or 3 games left in the Prem. They'll probably lose to Man City, Aston Villa, and maybe Spurs, but I don't know. Yeah, like I can see it. That Liverpool are of the 2 that we're against. Liverpool are the one that I feasibly see them dropping off. But You never know. I saw a stat earlier that I saw, which is crazy, was it compared the last, I think it was like the last 5 times that City and Liverpool have been in title races. And combined between both of them, it showed the final 10 games in each of City and Liverpool's last 5 title races. Neither of them lost a single game in those final 10 games in any of those seasons. Like, that's what we're competing against. Trossard or Georgie? For me, Trossard. For me, so Havertz in midfield, Trossard through the middle up top. Jorginho doesn't need to play against the likes of, Burnley, Sheffield. No point. United never looked like scoring a second. They played like Chelsea did for the last 15. The only time that United could have given themselves a real chance in that game was when they were 1-0 up. Rashford had 2 big chances. The one where he was absolutely through. All he needed to do was just control the ball out ahead of him, and he headed it down and ended up running past it. That was a massive mistake. And then the other one where the ball came to him at the back post and he just, again, completely messed it up. If one of them had gone in, I'd have backed them to get a 2-2 draw. If one of them had gone in, I'd have backed them to get a 2-2 draw, but never happened. So it doesn't matter. Is Osimhen still a possibility? It's a possibility. I don't know why. I just don't feel it. I don't feel it. It's a tough one to explain. I just don't see him in an Arsenal shirt. I don't know what it is. I just don't feel like it's a signing that we make. I'd love to be proven wrong. I really would. Do you think there is a penalty appeal? Not if it's for Ederson on Garnacho. I don't think so. If Ederson on Garnacho got given as a penalty against Arsenal, I'd be absolutely raging. I'd be raging. Rory, did you see the Burnley disallowed goal? It was the exact same thing as Joelinton on Gabriel. It's crazy. Yeah. But this was the thing. At the time, we knew instantly that later in the season that would get given as a foul because it was a foul. We all knew it was a foul. And so, I mean, remember literally the very next week, Saka got penalised for the exact same thing. It didn't end up in a goal, so it wasn't such a big talking point. But Saka got penalised for the exact same thing like a week later, or arguably even less of the same thing. But that's the thing. Like, as much as people tried to, gaslight us into thinking that wasn't a foul, everyone knew it was a foul. Who do you think will replace Klopp? Personally, I think they would hire an unpopular manager. I don't know because, realistically, Alonso is the favourite. He has to be the favourite. But if they don't get Alonso, I really don't know. When I hear them talking about De Zerbi, I'm like, I'd be happy if they got De Zerbi because I don't think he'd do well. I don't think De Zerbi would do well at Liverpool. So, and outside of that, I don't know, maybe Nagelsmann, but then you've got to find, he's got the Euros. It's interesting. We should sign Nico Williams. Possibly. I mean, there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of options out there. Williams, I'd be happy with. As long as we get capable, legitimate backup for Bukayo Saka, I think that's fine. Praying Arteta doesn't revert back to Partey at right back when he's match fit again. Do you know what? I don't think we ever really got to see the Partey at right back experiment properly. And there is a part of me that still is a bit curious about it. I don't think we'll see it again. But it's one of those where, we've seen it a lot with Arteta. We never, we've doubted him about a lot of things that have ended up this season working quite well. Kai Havertz. I wonder how it would have ended up if Partey had stayed fit. But we'll never know. What about White? Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with White at right back. But there was what about White at centre back? Who for though? The only way you do that is if you wanted to give Saliba a break, which I wouldn't be against, to be fair. The PGMOL actually needs the eventual winner to have some sort of kind of big points gap, or mistakes like Liverpool v Spurs and Arsenal v Newcastle are going to be so bad. Oh, if the season ends with, let's say, City beat Arsenal and Liverpool by a point, both Arsenal and Liverpool can turn around and say, well, PGMOL gave them the league. Realistically. Because, Arsenal against Newcastle, Liverpool's obviously against Spurs, City, the penalties that they got, the goal that they scored that should have been ruled out for offside when Akanji was stood in front of it. Like there's been a lot of legitimate mistakes that have either cost Liverpool and Arsenal or benefited Man City. And you're right. They need the winner to win by a lot for that not to be such a big factor. But I would rather White inverting than I would rather Partey inverting than White. Yeah, I would too. But I would rather White defending and overlapping Saka. So you've got to find the right balance. Ruben Amorim of Sporting Lisbon is being touted as possible Liverpool manager replacement. Yeah, I've seen him. To be fair, he's one of those managers. He's just doing such a good job at the moment. I've seen him linked to Chelsea, Liverpool, Bayern. I swear every player we want, Chelsea also want. Pretty much. But the thing is, this happens a lot where agents will use Chelsea's name to get more money. Because it's not unfit. Like, think about the amount of players that are linked to Chelsea. Because they've spent so much money, it's such an easy one for an agent to go to a journalist and say, oh yeah, Chelsea are interested, and then it's a story. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did go for Osimhen. I think they're in trouble financially. I don't know how much money they can actually spend. But just I think be cautious when it comes to Chelsea being linked to players. Who remembers when United fans hyped Amrabat so much? I remember being sat on a live stream. I was on the football terrace on just after Amrabat had joined Man United. And I was defending Declan Rice being better than Amrabat, and I was in a 2-on-1. There were two people sat on the side of Amrabat's a better defensive midfielder than Declan Rice, and he's going to be better than Declan Rice this season. This was before we'd seen Amrabat play. And I was sat there going, what are we on about? He's been awful. He has been awful. It's just another one of those. Do not buy a player off the back of a good international tournament. That should be written into like the history books. Do not buy a player off the back of a good international tournament, because no matter what, you will pay more than what they're worth. And there's a very good chance they're not as good as they looked in the international tournament. Usman Diomande is a good shout. Yeah, he's been really good for Sporting as well. Really good. Actually, there was a Sporting fan that DM'd me and was like, not happy with the fact that Diomande and Gyökeres are probably going to leave. George Christodoulou, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. The James Rodriguez phenomenon. It started with, well, probably didn't start with James, but James Rodriguez, David Ospina. Who else has there been? I mean, Enzo Fernandez to an extent, well, to a large extent. Amrabat now. I mean, there's more than that, but yeah. Do not buy a player off an international. If Arsenal ever do it, I'll stick to that. If Arsenal ever do it, Arsenal's best player this season, Declan Rice. For me, the most consistent and the one that stepped up at the big moments, Declan Rice. Rory, what would your Prem tot so far be? Ooh, good question. Prem team of the season so far. I'll come back to that. I'll probably make a video on that. It's too hard to think off the top of my head on the spot. Diomande ain't that good. Inacio and Quaresma have been better. Interesting. I see Diomande get a lot of the plaudits, but that can happen, you know. When a system is good, which I think Amorim has built, certain players, because they look more aesthetically pleasing, can get more of the credit when it's actually people around them. You know, it's similar. It's not similar because Saliba's unbelievable, but it's similar to Gabriel not getting the credit that he deserves. Enzo was really good for Benfica, though, but maybe not worth 100 mil. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it wasn't for the World Cup, do you think Enzo would have been going for 100 mil? He probably wouldn't have moved in the January, and he'd probably have gone for 50 mil. That's the thing. Young Tar, you've missed half of the stream. Pretty much just talking about the City game and then the Sheffield game tomorrow, the lineup that I'd go for and the prediction and stuff. Foden or Saka, which is better? For me, Saka, but, you know, if you say Foden, then I'm not going to hold it against you, you know? If Arteta was to somehow leave or get sacked, who would you realistically want as the replacement? Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola. Who will fit Arsenal more, Messi or Ronaldo? Neither of them. Neither Messi or Ronaldo are getting to the Arsenal team now. They're washed. They're past it. If you ever actually sit down, and I've done it a couple of times, and watch a Saudi game with Ronaldo, don't get me wrong, he's still scoring goals, but he looks so bad. And so, and I don't think Messi looks great anymore either. Trying to tell if that was a serious answer or not. Well, look, we wouldn't get him, but in my opinion, he is still the best manager in the world. So, his contract's up at City. They might end up in the Championship. Go get him. What was your lineup for tomorrow? It was the same lineup that we saw against. It was this lineup, the lineup that we saw against Burnley. I would go for that. I would go for that. Anyway. I'll blame that one on the PC, but in reality, it wasn't a crash. I literally just closed the window and left. What an absolute moron! It wasn't a crash. It wasn't a crash. That was my own brain crashed. That was my bad. That was my bad. Just so I was getting hyped for Guess Laguna. It is time for Guess Laguna, the game where I give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess it in the chat. Trying to sack us off? No, I promise. I've got to do Guess Laguna. I've already made the clues up. Never leaving before Guess Laguna's done. Get your fingers on your keyboards. It's not Aaron Ramsey, Pekka. You guess that every day, and at some point you will be right. But today is not that day. All right, clue number 1 for Guess Laguna. There is no VV Vlad, so there's no VV Vlad. And I don't think there's a Ross Lawman. So the two heavy hitters are not here. Big opportunity. Clue number 1. They scored 44 goals in 254 appearances for Arsenal. 44 goals in 254 appearances for Arsenal. They won the FA Cup 4 times. They won the FA Cup 4 times. Their first senior debut was for FC Schalke. Their first senior debut was for FC Schalke. They won the World Cup in 2014. They won the World Cup in 2014. And clue number 5, they joined Arsenal from Real Madrid on deadline day. So they scored 44 goals in 254 appearances for Arsenal, won the FA Cup 4 times, made their senior debut for FC Schalke, won the World Cup in 2014, and joined Arsenal from Real Madrid on deadline day. And it was, of course, Mesut Ozil. And it was George Christodoulou who got it first. Congratulations to George, one of the OGs of the stream. What a legend. It was Emilio who came second, another goat. Magnus came third, Sportcat came fourth, and Thomas Willis came fifth. But congratulations to George Christodoulou for getting Mesut Ozil. Louis said, I said Paul, but meant Ozil. Unfortunately, I can't give you that one. How do you guys get it from the appearances? Yeah, it's pretty impressive. George Christodoulou's second win in a week. Huge movements from George Christodoulou. He's rising to the status of VV Vlad and Ross Lawman. What would be your strongest 11 against City? Ooh, good question. What would be the strongest 11 against City? I'm going to assume that Yuri and Timber will not be fit enough to play that. So, Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tomiyasu, Rice, Jorginho, Erdegaard, Saka, Havertz, Martinelli. That would be my 11. Totally didn't cheat and look up Arsenal's goal scorers. I mean, look, if maybe I need to get rid of the goals scored one. Maybe that is too much of an easy giveaway if you can Google it. Rory, do you now think Raya is a better goalkeeper than Rambo? I do. And it is tough. I don't know if he's a better goalkeeper, right? But he's better for Arsenal. And there's a key thing there, because I don't think Ederson is a good goalkeeper, but he's good for Man City. And I think with Raya right now, he's what we need. And he is as much as he's conceded some really low XG chances, he is a key in why we've been so good at the back. And look, we'll see Ramsdale against Brentford next week, But I think Raya is what we need at the moment. Anyway, it's time for Guess the Non-Gooner. I'm going to give you the career path, the full career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal, and you have to guess who the player is. The thing is, you can't cheat, because then you lose because people are quick. Yeah, it is tough. Look, if you can Google the facts and find the answers quicker than other people can get them, then fair enough. Raya gets way too much stick compared with Rams. Yeah, I agree. Do you wish we had a shithousery player like Nunez? Miss it with Xhaka? I think we've got Ben White. I think we've got it a little bit with Ben White. And I don't massively miss it, to be honest. I don't think you need it. Anyway, guess the Non-Gooner. This player started their career at the VfL Bochum Academy. They went to Nuremberg, FC Nuremberg. They went to Borussia Dortmund. They went to Manchester City. And they went to Barcelona. Bochum, FC Nuremberg, Borussia Dortmund, Man City, Barcelona. There were a few options there, actually. I thought that was going to be easy, but the George Christodoulou put in a kanji, and but it's not. It is not. The correct answer, of course, is Ilkay Gundogan, and the first person to get it was TB. TB. I don't know if TB's ever won before. This might be a new winner. But he didn't quite spell it right, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he was trying to type quickly. Gundo Vilgot came second, Thomas Willis came third, Jermaine came fourth, and I'm gonna give fifth to Emilio. I'm gonna assume that he's tried to put Gundo, he's put Fundo, which realistically Fundo is quite a long way away from Gundogan, but I'm gonna give it to Emilio. So there you go. I mean, it doesn't help that he followed it up with Hundio. he was having some issues. F and G are close on the keyboard. They are next to each other on the keyboard. And H was the other side of it. So he went either side of the G, but he got there in the end. Do you think Sheffield will win another game in the Prem? Only if they play Burnley again. If they play Burnley again, then maybe. I can't remember if they've played each other twice or not. But other than that, I don't really see it. Are you happy we sold Balogun because he's not playing as good this season? Yeah. Look, I think the money we got for Balogun, we needed the money apart from anything. Like, we had to raise that amount. You think we were actually, in the end, pretty close to the limit on FFP. To the point where we couldn't sign anyone in January. Had we not made the money we made off Balogun, which was pure profit, we'd have been in trouble. So we had to do it. Like you said, he's not hit the heights this season that he did last season. So I'm pretty happy with it. Do you think Arsenal is going to try play similar to what Chelsea did at the Etihad, or try to control it more? It will be in between, because I think we'll play in a similar way in terms of we'll be happy to let City have the ball. We'll sit back a little bit, but we'll still have a lot more control of the game than Chelsea did, because we're a far better team. We have a big sell-on clause as well. Yeah, I mean that's the only downside actually of him not playing as well this season, is that once he's gone, yeah, all right. If he plays really well, you're like, maybe we should have kept him. But also, he potentially then gets sold on again for a lot of money, and we make money back from that. So, in a way, really, we just want him to do as well as possible and get more from it. But Rory, I might possibly get banned from YouTube tomorrow because it keeps glitching. So if you see someone called John on your stream, know it's me. I will do, John. You are also called John here, but thank you. I appreciate that. Premier League, you better not schedule us after City and Pool again. What do you mean? Oh, as in for the rest of the season. Yeah, it's not nice playing catch up. It's not nice playing catch. I far prefer getting our game out of the way early in the weekend and then ideally winning and then sitting back. I forgot to ask you, but what was your reaction to the Rashford and Foden goal in the Manchester derby? My reaction to the Rashford goal was far better and more excited than my reaction to the Foden goal. The reaction to the Rashford goal, I was giggling. I was giggling. The reaction to the Foden goal was just deflation. Actually, the most I giggled was when Haaland missed the absolute sitter. That was funny. Limbs in the living room for the Rashford goal. Yeah. Foden goal, I just clapped. I didn't even clap. Did you see how angry Mark Goldbridge was because of the ref? I think he's wrong. I haven't watched any of the videos, obviously, because I've been doing this, but I saw on Twitter that he was angry and he was complaining about the ref for both goals. For me, look, if I can claim that City have been gifted it, I'm gonna do it. But honest opinion, I didn't think either of those were fouls. Thing is with City, you can't giggle too early as it will haunt you. Yeah, you're right. No worries, Carter. You can watch it back. You can watch it back, Carter. United and Forest giving us false hope for a while. Forest was the real false hope. Forest was like if Callum Hudson-Odoi or Awoniyi just clears the ball, it's a draw. Like even without the ref doing the nonsense at the other end, just swing a leg at the ball and it's done. That was all it needed. I assume. Maybe Paul Tierney just continues playing until Liverpool scored anyway. But I think the ref got it right, to be fair. Yeah. Look, the problem is, right, is and United have done this already this season with Arsenal, right? When they came to the Emirates and their fans were trying to claim that the Garnacho offside wasn't offside, but they had no reason for it other than it looked onside from a certain camera angle, but the lines were drawn and he was offside. And then the Højlund penalty that was never a penalty. And the problem is, and Ten Hag weirdly still talks about that game, even now, which is bizarre. But they're like the boy that cried wolf because they complain about things and they're complaining today when reality is they weren't fouls. And so the same with us. I think you've got to try and be honest. A Man United fan once told me, never expect Man United to do Arsenal any favours. True, but you'd think in a Manchester derby you might get it. We would have won that game anyway, though. Yeah, well, I think the game ends differently if we're 2-1 down with 2 minutes to go. But did you see what happened against Real Madrid yesterday? What are your thoughts on it? Yeah, I did. I spoke about it a bit earlier in the stream, but for me, I think it was poor from the ref. I do think it was poor from the ref. It wasn't wrong. There's a difference here, right? What he technically did was not wrong. So Real Madrid, they can't complain. They won't get anywhere with a complaint because there's nothing in the rules that says the referee has to wait for an attack to fizzle out before they can blow for full time. That's not a rule. So he didn't do anything wrong. But there probably should have been more extra time added anyway because of the VAR check. And then within that, it's like, well, you know, you've yeah. I think it's tough, but I think he just got it wrong. Rory, when a gaming stream's coming soon. I promise. Soon. I really want to do it. Someone's just reminded me though. Ross Lawman's arrived very late, nearly as late as Liverpool's winning yesterday. But it is good to see you, Ross. It was. Look, you opened up the field for Guess the Gooner today because you and Vlad were not here. Actually, someone's just reminded me of something that I need to do. I need to do this urgently. I'm going to put a link. In fact, I'll put it in the chat and then I'm going to put it in the description as well. To Tifo. So tomorrow, I'm going to be streaming on here at 6:30 like normal. I'll stream on here at 6:30 like normal. And then I'm going to be streaming on an app called Tifo. That is the link. I should be back. I haven't crashed, have I? I should be. Am I here? Laggy mic. My internet's dropped a little bit. It could be that. But that link there, and I'm going to put it in the YouTube description as well, is a link to Tifo. Tifo is a brand new streaming platform that I'm very excited to be streaming on. I'm going to do a watch along on there. So a watch along at 8 o'clock will be on Tifo. The link to that is there. When you sign up, use the code Rory, RORY, full caps. When you sign up, it'll prompt you to put in a code. And yeah, we'll be live on there. Brand new streaming platform, basically designed for football fans. So I'm very excited. The more of you that are in there and the more of you that watch it and engage in the chat, basically they want to build it exactly as we football fans want it to be. Which, you know, with Twitch and YouTube and all the rest of it, like, they're not designed for football watch-alongs. Love the Tifo stream for the Carabao Cup final, so Arsenal would be even better. Exactly. So I'll make sure that I put this. I'll make sure I put this link in the YouTube description as well for the people that are watching. For the people that are watching it back. And remember, use the code Rory, RORY, to when you're signing up with your account. Use code Rory. Making your Tifo account. So yeah, look, I'm very excited for that. So I'm going to be live on here on YouTube as normal from 6:30. And we'll be live when the team news comes out, and we'll talk about the team news on here, and then we'll jump over to the Tifo stream at 8 o'clock. Why will you not stream on Kick? Then you can put it in your screen so everybody can watch it. Long term, keep an eye out on this. But even with Kick, like, technically you can't. Like, the way that people do it on Kick, I'm relatively sure it's illegal because they don't have the rights to show the game. It's the only reason that Kick can kind of do that is because it's just it's like TikTok. It's like when people started on TikTok, you could use copyright stuff and get away with it, and then they started clamping down on it. We will be there no matter what. No flags today. I'm sorry. Flags are coming. We will do the flag quizzes. Sporting a 2-2. Will Gyökeres clutch. Damn, they were 2-0 up. Oh no, they were 2-1 up. Now it's 2-2. Will you be able to show the game on Tifo in the future? That is the plan. There is a plan that the future is going to be. It's going to change the future of football watch-alongs. That's the plan. Mevin says, like the new background. I appreciate that. This isn't what the background is going to be, I don't think. I was just playing around with something, and I do have the creative ability of a toddler. So it's not great, but I wanted to do, you know, something a bit different. Anyway, that is going to be the end of the stream. I do massively appreciate all of you that have joined. If you can sign up for Tifo ahead of that watch-along tomorrow, that would be much appreciated. Hopefully, I'll see as many of you there as possible. I'll be live on here at 6:30 tomorrow. Have a fantastic evening. It's a Monday tomorrow. We've got to get through another Monday before we get to the Arsenal game, which stinks. But look, thank you for all joining. Please smash the like button on the way out, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Goodbye.